Hi everyone, thanks for joining us back on the Walking Dead discussion. This is a podcast with myself and Reina. I'm in the UK, Reina's over there in the Netherlands. Do you want to say hi to the viewers, Reina?
Hello everybody, welcome back.
Thanks for joining us, and we're going to talk about episode 3 of the final season of The Walking Dead, season 11, which is called Hunted. But before we do, we're obviously recording this on September the 11th. Of course, today is quite a poignant day. It's the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and many people will remember exactly where they were at that moment. So it can stir up emotions in a lot of people. So we were talking about this just briefly before recording. So just to kind of send love and prayers out there into the world. Reina, I don't know if you wanted to say a few words as well in relation to that.
Well, my heart's with America right now, with all the people who lost their lives and lost family this day 20 years ago. Never forget, and never again.
Yeah, amen to that. Absolutely. So yes, of course, because of it being the anniversary in 20 years, it's quite unbelievable to think 20 years really, but still remember that moment. So yes, of course, America and the world is in our thoughts. So with that being said, on to the Walking Dead episode 3, season 11, Hunted. On our last podcast, we've covered parts 1 and 2 of this final season. Acheron parts 1 and 2, because it was an opener in 2 parts, and they really did get the ball going, didn't they, with these opening episodes straight in there, which was great for us as viewers and fans of The Walking Dead. And last time, Reina posed a question because we were talking about one of the crews that's actually at the Commonwealth, including Eugene. Eugene, the hopeless romantic that he is, he was going on a quest, if we remember back in the last season before they got into this weird situation, trying to find Stephanie, who he'd been communicating to on a radio. So, of course, we all want Eugene to find love, but the question was asked, Reina, wasn't it,
can we trust Stephanie?
Yes, can we trust her? Is she all that she seems? Because it just seemed a bit angelic, and I was saying, no, he needs to be a bit wary. Reina was very much, yes, she's okay. And we asked the viewers, what do you think? Because, of course, we want him to find love, but is she all that she seems? So thank you very much, because somebody who viewed the podcast actually provided a comment on this. Reina, if you give a shout out.
Yeah, Norty, we want to thank you for your comment on our question, if Stephanie could be trusted. You were with me, if I'm correct, that she is okay. And yeah. I hope we're going to be right.
Yeah, so at the moment it's 2 against 1. What can I say? But I hope I'm wrong as well. But I will stay in my camp until I find out a bit more about her as we go on in the series. So, but thank you very much for commenting and having your say. It's great to get that interaction with people that view the podcast. So of course this one opens up. So we left the last one with this crew of quite freaky people that reminded me of The Purge, if anybody's seen the Purge films.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I love The Purge.
And they kind of come out of the darkness, like the crew that had just been in the subway tunnel and all of that drama going on. They're then on ground level. They see this pathway, but either side they've got all the bodies hanging by their feet, quite creepy. Then this crew comes out of nowhere, and that's where it ends. And you think, oh, what's going to happen? Are our beloved favorites, such as Negan, gonna get attacked or killed? We hope not. And we were thinking that minor characters might, because of course they're upon them. So what are they going to do? They were already shooting at them, weren't they, and throwing arrows, I think, or they were doing something.
Yeah, knives and arrows, I believe.
Knives, yeah. Absolutely. So I was very impressed, and obviously I'll get Reina's opinion on this, that it opens straight with that, because sometimes in TV series, they like to keep you guessing. So it's like, oh, well, we're not going to reveal it straight away. We'll go on to something else. But they went straight in with that. And we were able to see, right, we're right in the action of it, and they're all scarpering. There's madness going on. We did lose a few of that kind of group, but then in true Walking Dead style, that group then separated into different
I loved the effects that they used during the fight because you see them running and somehow they kind of cut in slow motion when they were hit or when they dived away.
Yeah,
I loved that. We've not seen that before, and it really gave like a 3D kind of idea. I loved it
yeah,
very much, especially with the part with Negan in the tree. Like he was going fast, and then when he was like turning, it went like slow motion. I
yeah,
thought that was amazingly done with the effect.
yes.
I do have a question. Where the hell did they get these pretty knives from? Because they're all like bended and they've got weird things on it. Like they're pretty classy knives. It's not a regular knife.
Yeah,
Wondering had they made them themselves or whatever, because it's not like a knife that you normally would see.
no,
Um, I loved the effects at that moment, and it was straight in,
yeah,
bam, watch this. And
yes.
yeah, we lost some people, which I don't know the names of. I'm sorry.
No, no.
I don't
But it was
know.
like, just kind of, yeah. So they're
Oh,
out.
the man with the
Yeah,
beard goes
yeah.
down. Oh,
Well, when he got it, was it a knife in his knee that Negan got? Because when that happened and he just pulled it out, I was like, "You're so hot right now." You know?
that was a throwing knife. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But in
absolutely.
he just literally like pulled it out of his leg, and I was just a bit like, "Yeah, just gonna have to fan myself now."
I thought Gabriel was finished because he got sliced in his
Yes,
neck, didn't he? So I
yeah,
thought he was
yeah.
dead, but he wasn't.
You were hoping, weren't you? But
Oh, kinda. I was like,
yeah.
wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, no, I must admit, yeah, I did kind of wonder, and I mean, we'll stick with this crew in our discussions. We know that we've actually gone back to Alexandria, so we'll obviously cover that in a bit, and we don't know the latest on Eugene and Ezekiel and Crew B that are at the Commonwealth. We haven't covered that this
We haven't
episode.
actually seen anything of him this episode.
No, exactly. But we've gone back to Alexandria. We've got, some more kind of insights there about what's going on with the group, but we still don't know where Jerry is. I mean, I've not seen
Yeah,
Jerry.
we didn't see him. That was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but we did see the kids, which was a nice touch to it.
Yes, yes,
Um,
it was.
this weird, confused Carol was back, which I didn't like. She was
Yes,
acting all weird. I,
yeah,
I can't get over what they done with her character. I like really dislike it. She was one of
yes,
my favorite characters in the past, and now
mm,
I'm just annoyed when she gets in the
yeah.
screen.
There is something going on with her, isn't there? But of course, yeah, we'll come to Alexandria, but in relation to Crew A, as I'm terming them, then. So when
Yeah,
they set and we've got Gabriel in the woods on his own, and he stumbles across that guy from the gang, doesn't he?
yeah.
Who's
See, I have a question of that before because Gabriel was wounded. We've all seen this,
yes,
and I think Gabriel was the one who started praying.
mm,
We've heard him say up a verse, a prayer, a couple of times in a row.
yeah,
And we later on hear this dude say the same thing, so
yeah,
which makes me think they were following each other. Otherwise,
mm,
he couldn't have said the same thing as Gabriel.
mm,
Um, but that whole scene I was aggravated with it. Not that he killed the dude, it's the
yeah,
the way how he killed the dude. Um,
yeah,
this dude is laying on the ground, he's dying. I thought he was really sketchy and weird looking, and I thought he looked like he was a homeless dude. And he's like, pray for me, Father.
yes,
And you see Gabriel thinking,
mm,
like, am I gonna do this or not? And then he's like, oh, you're a man of God.
yes. I wrote that down. Yeah, aren't you a man of God? And he said, God isn't here
God
anymore.
isn't here. But moments before you slash this dude's brain out,
Yeah,
you were praying to God. So what the hell are you doing right there?
and he's still wearing this dog collar.
Yeah. Um, I was so confused about that because do they not have to like do an oath or something as a priest that when someone asks them to pray with them that they pray for these people if they're either bad or good? Isn't that not like a kind of a priest oath that they do?
Well, my opinion on it is, yeah, if he's inherently that got that religion within him, that's just part of him. So he would naturally do that. And it's exactly right. What that guy was saying, even your enemies deserve the prayer, basically.
I agreed with the
Yeah.
homeless dude. I do. So
Yeah.
I did not like that on Gabriel.
No,
I
no.
already don't like him, but it made him
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah, but
He was
interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting because there was that element, and there were other references to kind of religion going through, because we saw that walker that had Judas like
that
above
was
it.
a scary one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I was like,
it was.
what the hell?
Yes.
We have not ever seen one
No.
like that before. I thought that one was terrifying.
Yeah, that was. So Judas, and then they then obviously later on when they get to the church, so it's almost like there was a bit of a religious kind of thing going on. But definitely with Gabriel, I'm with you, because he really, well, he disgusted me at that point as a character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just thinking, well, if you don't feel, because of how things have gone, there's an apocalypse going on and all of this devastation, if you don't believe that God is there with you, why are you still wearing the dog collar and
Yeah, he
promoting?
should take it off.
Yeah,
He
if
does
he took
not
it,
deserve the
yeah,
title to be entitled to be a priest anymore, in my
yeah,
opinion. I think
yes,
he needs to take it off, step down
yes,
from your faith, because you already
yeah,
basically done that. First, you're
yeah,
gonna go pray for
yeah,
yourself,
yes,
and this dude asks you to pray for him, even if he's an enemy,
yeah,
and you're like, oh, God's not here. So how selfish are you
yeah,
as a priest?
yeah.
Because
Oh,
first moment you're basically trying to connect with your faith,
mm,
to only 10 minutes later turn your back on it.
I know. And I think you mentioned last time, I'm sure it was in the last podcast discussion, about, when we met him initially and we find out this past about him, that he did he was very selfish in that he didn't
Yeah.
protect his parishioners. So it almost does make you think like he's going back to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, only he's not a coward anymore that sacrifice that, but he still sacrifices people on his own behalf.
Yes.
So he's not changed. He only became a little bit harder on him because
Yeah.
he was a chicken
Yeah.
before when we met him. He was scared and hiding up that rock and everything.
Yeah.
When we met him, because he was terrified, but you're still in the same way as you were then. So I mean, I understand you need to be hard in a situation like that, but how can he switch from faith to turning his back on it so quickly is beyond me, especially when you're entitled yourself as a priest.
Exactly. It's the integrity within him, isn't it, that he's just dismissing. So yeah, absolutely. So that was obviously Gabriel. In terms of Maggie, and we've got obviously Alden and Negan out there. We see Maggie, and she's in this like derelict mall, isn't she? And before she gets to the room with the creepy mannequins in it, we had a discussion before recording it, didn't we? Because she's there, and all of a sudden that Reaper guy with the mask on, when she gets to the top of the stairs, he's behind her, but how he kind of appears, to me, that was quite freaky, but well done. It was good to watch it.
It looked like a scene from Scream.
Yeah, definitely.
Where Ghostface would pop up behind his victims.
Yes. So it was very well done, but it was a bit like, oh, creepy. But then she pushed him over the railings, and we had a bit of a laugh about this because, sorry, it was a bit quick to then hear footsteps running up the stairs. So I was trying to think as a viewer watching it for the first time, is that the same guy? Is that somebody else that's now running up the stairs? Because, and you rightly pointed out, didn't you? Would he not have broken any bones from falling?
If you see the walker before, like moments before that, she pushed that walker down, didn't she? She lost her flashlight in the process, which is really dumb. This railing breaks immediately from a rotten corpse. We see how many storages it falls down as well, because we see the flashlight going down with the walker.
Yes.
It was the same dude because it had the same mask. And I've noticed with the Reapers, they all have a different mask. They all have their own masks. So because of the mask, I could identify him as the same person. She threw him down those railings, which obviously it broke just as easily as it did with the walker, and that was a dead skinny corpse.
Yeah.
So obviously they're not that fit. And now I tried to debunk that with my husband and saying like, oh, maybe he crept on it in the way. And I said, that's what my husband said. And I said, it can't be because it can't even keep a walker. So it can't be that he just gripped on and it broke his fall, because right in the middle was a hole and the stairs were like around it.
Yes.
There is no way in hell that man could come off that fall with no broken bones.
Yeah.
It is not
not plausible, believable.
No, it's
not realistic.
Impossible.
Yeah. So it was interesting because I thought when I heard the footsteps, I was like, are you kidding me? I was just a bit like, what?
Dude's like Wolverine, can't die.
Absolutely. But then she goes in that room, and that was what was a bit, I mean, they're mannequins, but it was still a bit kind of
eerie. Those mannequins were more scarier than the walkers of the episode.
Yeah.
See, I don't like dolls to begin with.
Yeah. So they were just like a bit weird. But
there's a point with that when she walks in, which made me laugh. I do not know if you've seen it, but this mannequin is standing there for a very long time. Okay? Nobody's been in there. Maggie walks in that room and one of those mannequins falls down. I mean, how? It's been standing there for years. She comes in, doesn't touch it, and it falls down.
Yeah. Timing. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, timing. But I could see that there was somebody behind the pillar. I knew there was somebody behind the pillar before we then saw what then happened. And of course, Alden, he gets injured, doesn't he? And that's it kind of. So again, there was quite a lot of action going on then. Again, we kind of talked about this because both of us watching that thought that he was done at that point. Like, yeah.
It was a grenade, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, Alden, is he dead? That was my reaction.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he stood up. I'm like, how? That was a grenade.
I know. But Maggie, of course, then she's getting attacked by that guy, and she manages to grab that bottle and obviously whacks him. But of course, Negan saves her again.
Saves the day again.
Admittedly, he didn't on the train. We know that, but he does here. But she's still got an issue with him when she gets up. Bearing in mind, she's actually able to stand up because he saved her, but she's still got that beef with him, which just irritates me.
Annoying.
Yeah.
At this point, if I was in Negan's shoes, I'd be like, okay, bitch, sort yourself out. I'm not saving you again.
Yeah.
But that would be my fault. Somebody like you were just ungrateful. I saved your life how many times now? Except for the train part, but I'll be like, okay, next time you just try and save yourself out of the situation. I ain't helping you no more.
Yes. Because he could have just let him get her.
It would have been easy. And you know what? He wouldn't have gotten the blame for it because it was them.
That's right. Yeah. So, but it shows that he's got that, in him that he wants to.
Yeah, but remember, Maggie said people don't change.
Oh, I know. She needs to change the record. She needs to change the record. But again, if there's any Maggie fans watching, we apologise, but it's one of them things. Now, obviously, when they're outside, aren't they? They find Agatha and the guy with the beard.
Rufus, wasn't it?
What's that?
Was it Rufus?
I can't remember
Duncan, was it?
Can't remember his name.
The big black man was Duncan.
Yeah, it was him because he was injured, wasn't he? And he was
that was Duncan. Duncan and Agatha.
Right. Okay. So then that's another of that crew kind of gone, and then later on, Agatha obviously gets bitten, and then she gets like torn. I mean, that kind of thing. Oh, I don't like, because you just imagine
her arm was like chewing gum. I laughed. I thought that was funny. Sorry, I like that kind of moment. I was like, ooh.
I don't like it because I think a bit like in the previous one where that boy, stabbed himself.
I think we saw that one so much clearer than Agatha because she was already surrounded by him.
True, yeah. But it's almost like, what would you do? She probably didn't have a weapon on her to do that, but he chose, the boy chose to do that, didn't he, so that he wouldn't feel the kind of being torn apart. She actually was like,
she had no chance. It was too fast.
Yeah. It's just awful, but of course that's where they see the Judas Walker, as we referred to earlier.
Yeah, before that Judas Walker, again, Negan jumps in, grabs Maggie and pulls Maggie away from Agatha, because Maggie somehow wants to suddenly save someone who can't be saved.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, which makes me pissed off, because there was someone you could have saved and you didn't. Now someone's already half ripped apart and you still want to go in there.
Yeah, that's right. Fighting
against him, of course, Negan's not bending down and just drags her back, and she's fighting him, and I'm like, why are you trying to save a woman that's already been torn apart, most of the body parts, and there's a boy who is completely alive, still time to save? You don't save that one. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Although, do you think that all this stuff is happening, it's been kind of, written into the script to kind of, to make the viewers actually build up that sort of favouring Negan more than Maggie, because that's how it's going at the moment.
Well, that looks like that way, but that also brings me back on episode 1 that I said that we've covered, thinking Maggie's the villain.
Yeah.
It gives me that vibe. I can't get rid of it, because everything they're showing right now, I hate her every episode even more.
Yeah. No,
but in the trailer they have, like, when they showed the main characters for this season, they called Negan the redeemed one. So maybe it is to show his redemption side. I don't know, but with Maggie.
I definitely feel for him. I know I've always liked him as a character, but I kind of feel for him more now than before. But she actually says when they get to the church and it's just her, Negan, and Alden. Alden's obviously injured and struggling, and she has to kind of make that choice, doesn't she? But she then still has a go at Negan, then saying, I wrote it down, you don't get to decide who lives and who dies anymore. But he quite rightly said, but you still got to make a choice.
Yeah.
So, which was a fact, wasn't it? Like, you can be pissed off with me all you like, but you've still got to make the choice.
See, I didn't like that part neither, because there was something else that's been said. When Maggie said to Negan, "This is all your fault. You destroyed Hilltop. You destroyed Alexandria." Maggie, hold up. Where were you the last 3 seasons?
Exactly.
I think it was Alpha who burned down the place, not Negan.
Yeah.
Negan
but she
kept it quite intact. He did some damage, but it was already burning after Rick left, because everything burns when Rick leaves. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It happened in every season. Every time Rick goes somewhere, the community dies. But it was Alpha who burned it down with them arrows with fire and whatever they fucking threw at Alexandria Hilltops.
Yeah.
Don't you dare blame Negan for something he did not do.
No, I know, but it's everything, isn't it? He's an easy target.
Everything is being shoved in this man's poor shoes. Okay, I know he was a dick and he killed your husband, but you know what? I think at this time, Negan, you made a wrong decision in that circle. It should have been her. I think he's thinking the same thing.
He might be now, but no, you're absolutely right, because she does kind of blame everything. The fact that they are where they are at that moment, she's blaming him, but no, a lot has actually happened in between, as you rightly say,
and you were nowhere to be found. You ran off because you couldn't deal with the fact that Rick was gone, because that's why she left. Yeah. So who's the scaredy cat here?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I miss Rick, but I don't think I'd be.
And let's be honest. If Maggie would have been in there still, her head would have been on a pike.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Again, I know we've covered this before, but you think all the characters, and when they leave, and you think if they don't, things could have been a lot different. You just.
Did Negan not say that? Was that last episode, or was it this episode that Negan mentioned the pikes? He mentioned it. No, it was last episode in the train.
Last episode, yeah.
When he said, "Well, I did what I had to be done. Otherwise, y'all would have ended up on bloody pikes.
Yes.
Which is true.
Yeah. No, I know. So all that moment with Alpha was worth it, which we won't go there again.
No, why did you do that?
I mean, it just comes up every now and then, doesn't it? But what can you say?
The image in my brain again.
I know. You're welcome. But of course, then what they do is she decides. Obviously, they leave Alden in the church, and part of me wonders if he's going to make it through. To be honest,
I think he's going to kill himself.
It kind of got that vibe.
It got that eerie. I got that feeling off of him.
Yeah, it was a bit, and obviously there now it's just the two of them, so fate has kind of brought them together to rely on each other now, and they're going to have to work together, but I'm sure there's going to be more tension between them, and I even said to you, didn't I, unless they fall in love, which I think is very, very unlikely, but it just makes me think,
toxic relationship that would be.
Oh, it would be, but interestingly, at the end, when he kills a walker, so again, he's stepping forward as the man. I know she's perfectly capable of defending walkers, but he steps in like with his crowbar with the walker. Just that shot close to the end of the crowbar dripping in blood made me think back to that episode with Lucille dripping in blood after he's just smashed Abraham and Glenn.
You saw a body and the background faded out, and we were all guessing who was laying there.
Yes. So that another throwback, wasn't it? That they seem to be.
The way she's looking, because she's laying on the floor, isn't she? She's on her hands and knees at that moment. That was the same position actually she was in with that baseball bat thing in season 7. She was in the exact same way, sitting or laying down or wherever it was, as it was back then. So see, if I were Negan, I would have just smashed her brain in, but obviously that's not happening. I'm sorry, Maggie fans. I just don't like her.
Obviously not yet, no. But that was kind of like the main crew, I would say, of the episode, wasn't it? Because there was more coming up for them.
Yes.
But we did get to see Alexandria. So they've not covered the Commonwealth this episode, but Alexandria, which again is still that devastation, from when you think back to when they first arrived there and all these
it was
lovely,
such a beautiful beautiful place, wasn't it? And now it's just disaster, death, but they're rebuilding, because the moment we got into Alexandria, we saw this man plus Aaron with one arm trying to pull up a wall.
Yes.
Which that made me laugh, because he's like really pulling hard with one arm, and I'm like, bro.
I know, bless him. But yeah, Carol's obviously trying to find the horses, which was quite a big, because of what happened later on. That was quite a big thing, wasn't it, as to why she was trying to find the horses. I think not only to have the horses for the community, but also what she went through with, which I didn't quite like, and I don't think you liked it either.
No, I just had to see that part, because for somehow I've missed it on the day I've watched it, so I quickly just rewatched that part.
Yeah.
But don't really know what's going through her head right now with Kelly, and Magda apparently doesn't like it. But she's being all confused again, like the way she's walking when Rosita, we see her plucking mushrooms in the forest.
Yes.
And Carol is just walking there, and Rosita says to her, it's getting dark soon, and Carol doesn't give a zero fucks about that, which immediately gave me the ideas in my head again of like, oh my god, crazy Carol's back. Which I really don't like that. I would, at this point in time, I'm going to be really deadly honest with you. If Carol dies, it wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Catch a horse on your own. Are you bloody serious? You don't even know how to throw a lasso.
Do you think she's been like this since Henry with the pipe.
Well, that's what she changed, isn't it? Like, okay, I think I would be going crazy if every child I've ever been around in an apocalypse dies.
Mm,
This they did, didn't they? I mean,
yeah,
her own daughter died, and then
yeah.
we had that Sam kid, and we had Lizzie, and what was the other kid's name? Lizzie and
What, the two that were weird? Well, the one that was weird.
one was weird. That was feeding Walker's rats. That was Lizzie. You had Lizzie and something with an M.
I want to say Mika, but I don't know if that's right.
Yes, Mika.
Ah,
That's
mhm.
it. And then we had Sam and his family, the cookie boy, annoying little shit. And then we and then Henry. So basically Carol, keep your kids away from Carol. That's all I can say. Well, and then the whole breakup with Ezekiel, which I still don't understand because you broke up with Ezekiel after the death of Henry, which is not really fair.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that, and I
No,
kind
that
of
was quite weird. That was the confusing part. But now she's just all cuckoo. And she started swallowing pills, didn't she? In what
yeah,
was it, season 10
yeah.
was that or 9? I can't remember, but she was swallowing pills, and I'm like, where do you even find them? But okay,
Mm, mm.
she's not the character that she used to be anymore.
She, no, she's not, and I'd like to think that there's going to be a change, because otherwise, like you say, if she does get killed in this season,
It wouldn't bother me.
then it's, yeah, and she's like a major character, so there'd be something wrong about that. You'd have
That
to,
would be because she's
yeah,
in there since what, episode 1?
yeah,
She's the one together with Daryl. It's the only two from the original
yeah,
group that we started with.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's very odd. She is
But
acting a
I'm
bit.
thinking, you say like, is there going to be a change? But in how far can they actually change it back now? I don't think you can,
No,
because you can't go from this cuckoo back to like how she was in, like, let's say Terminus.
yeah, because I was thinking of, when I forget what season it was, but when Rick actually kind of got her to leave, and she went, and then she did come back, and that was probably when she came back, was it, Terminus, when
Wasn't
she,
that in the prison? That was around the governor, wasn't it?
I really can't remember. I mean, I'm
I
gonna have
can't
to,
remember her being in prison, but I could be wrong with that. It was either with the governor or the Terminus one
yeah,
that she came back and blew up Terminus,
yeah,
and they didn't
say
know it was
today.
her. So I think it was season 4, 5,
Mm,
around there.
unless something like that, and she saved the day, because even with the Whisperers, she was going to finish Alpha off, wasn't she? She wanted to kind of do that, but it never happened
Well,
really.
she
And
did in a way, didn't she? I mean, she's the one who let Negan out.
she did, yeah, no, that's true. That is true. Yeah, she did. Yeah, yeah,
But she didn't even know where she started on doing that, because Negan could have turned around and just joined the Whisperers at that point.
yeah.
Because
But
I think Alpha trusted him.
yes, but when she was leading the Walkers, or the Whisperers, the Walkers, to the cliff edge, wasn't she?
Right.
And she was actually doing that, and then, oh, what's her name?
Lydia.
Lydia kind of came and then
She
pulled her
wanted to
back.
throw herself off the cliff as
Yes,
well.
yes, yeah. So there have been dark moments, I think, with
There is
her.
still something in her. I absolutely agree, but I don't know. I think Carol needs to go have a break.
Yes,
Sit
yes,
down and relax. Here's a puzzle.
yes. No, I mean, obviously the horses, we won't dwell on that too much, because it wasn't very pleasant to watch. But of course, how it looked to me was she'd sacrificed a horse to obviously provide for the community, but
It
sacrifice.
didn't look ill to me
No, it
at
didn't
all.
look. No,
No.
it didn't. Me. So I think she sacrificed the horse for the meat for the community. Which, okay, what do you do in that situation if it's about survival? It's a difficult thing, isn't it? But it's not pleasant.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, they were low on food. Let's be honest, they barely had any food, and a horse is big. There's a lot of meat on a horse, and they can eat for a very long time off of that.
Yeah,
Please don't put it in detail that badly. I don't
yeah,
want to see that blood pouring down in the basket. It's just
yeah,
disgusting.
yeah. It wasn't It wasn't pleasant. Yeah.
No, I don't like horses, but that went too far for me as well. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't like.
I think they should put a disclaimer in the episode at the end, like no horses were hurt during this episode.
I think they put something out. I don't know if it was on social media, and there was a picture of like her with the horse. You couldn't see any blood or anything, but
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I'm sure there was something that said no horses were harmed in this episode. I mean, obviously,
Okay.
yeah, we know it's going to be fake for the program, but it still looked real, and it's
It
that
looked
whole
very, very real.
Yeah.
I know they wouldn't do it in a show, but you
Yeah.
know, there's always these Karens that think that it's real.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know what I mean, right? There's
Yeah.
always people, because
Yeah.
this is what happened with something that Steven said in the Talking Dead about his character Simon being a pit bull. He got attacked on Twitter because he said Simon would look like a pit bull, and he got bashed for that on Twitter, that he left Twitter because of it. Because because pit bulls aren't like that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and that's not what he said. People, listen.
Yeah. Some people
Like this social media hate towards some actors. Like, how many actors have not left social media due to the hate that they get as their character? And I'm like, these people are playing a part. They are not really like that. Like Eugene has been what's his name? Just McDermott, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is that the other one? No, that's not the one from American Horror Story. I always mess them two up. But he was bullied so badly online that he left social media completely. And there's a couple of others who did the same thing.
He did. I remember that happening. Yeah, I do remember that happening.
It's a show. These are actors, and actors are playing a part.
Exactly.
So stop being a Karen and man up.
But exactly right. And I know it's great. And especially if they are a villain, because that shows, if you actually think, oh, I really don't like that character, that shows the talent of that actor to portray that. But yes, they are portraying a character. But
Which brings us back to Xander Berkeley, isn't it? He's one of the most hated characters in The Walking Dead ever.
Yeah, yeah. And it's their job, isn't it? And you know, because you know you're an actor as well, so you know, and it's like
I got several remarks on my first short film where I am playing a drug dealer. I got several remarks on that, so which I was like, I'm doing my job here, people. And you know, it's sometimes comments are hard to read, but at one point, I think you just need to have really thick skin.
Yeah.
And look past it, because in every job you're gonna have haters. Doesn't matter what you're doing. That's just how the world is. But just be the better person at that point.
Yeah, definitely. So in relation to, we know what happened with the horse. We did also see a bit of a kind of light-hearted moment, and that was the kids that were.
Oh, they were so cute.
So very, very cute, obviously, all the kids there. And what I thought was quite interesting was there's a contrast, really, because they were having quite a grown-up conversation at one point, but they were also weren't they? But it was like, so they're having the innocence of the kids' play, but because of their situation, they've almost been forced to grow up a bit more. And do you agree with that? Yeah.
I think this is the first time we actually saw RJ back since Michonne left.
Yes.
It's the first time we heard RJ speak.
Yes.
His first lines. I think we heard Mini Glenn speak in another episode about asking about Negan. And we saw the little girl who has been brought up by Aaron.
Oh, Grace.
Grace, yes. And there was a kid missing, because Alden is also looking after Adam, who was from Rose and her husband.
Yes.
We did not see that kid, so I wonder where that kid is. But yeah, like you said, a very grown-up conversation, and something stood out for me there, which made me think, is Michonne coming back, yes or no? Is when Judith said, "Oh, not my mom. My mom always comes back." But is she? Like, is
exactly.
this an Easter egg, or is this just a innocent kid saying, "Oh no, my mom can come back for me. I'm sure she did not leave me here on my own because my
Yeah,
dad's already gone." You know.
yeah. It'll be interesting if she does. Yeah. Hmm.
And Glenn, oh my God, I can't get over how well they casted the little boy because he does look like Glenn,
He does.
and he's
Yeah.
wearing Glenn's hat.
Well, that might be why I was like, oh my God, that is like a mini Glenn, because he did,
He,
yeah, dress the part as
he did
well.
very, very well,
Yeah, yeah.
amazingly on casting that boy.
Very, very good casting. And of course, he was talking about when they had the food there, and he was trying to say to Judas, it's okay, just chew it. But you eat what you find, isn't it? It's that kind of thing of this
Yeah,
is
he
survival.
said this is better than the spiders, so which makes
Yeah,
me think he ate spiders at one point. Oh dear, oh Lord, I
I
hate
know,
spiders.
I know. But it's interesting because, and I know you'll probably laugh at me again because we had this chat before recording, and I was like, was Negan eating cardboard? Because that is what it came across to me as. But he referred to what he was eating as being like cardboard, didn't he?
Which makes me think, when did you even eat cardboard to know the taste of? But okay,
Yeah.
nobody eats cardboard for fun. But it was a piece of beef jerky. I'm pretty sure it was, because
Yes.
it's red. It looks like a meaty substance.
Yeah.
But then they also gave him that look again when he spit it out, didn't he? So
Yeah. It can't win. But on that note, with the cardboard, if you were in the same situation and that was all you had to eat, even though it's not food, it's just something, would you eat cardboard?
I don't think so, because I don't think that would really well ingest in your system. I don't think it's gonna go
Yeah.
down very well.
I mean, when I was watching it, and I honestly thought that's what he was eating, and then I thought back to Herschel, Mini Glenn, saying you eat what you find. So in my mind, I was thinking, oh, he's found some cardboard, he's eating it. But no, on second watch of it, yes,
I think if I was in that situation and having no food or low on food, I would do like what Rosita did. But then that's also tricky, because how do you know which mushrooms you can eat or not? Because there's poisonous out there as well, which you can
yeah,
die of. So I
yeah.
would probably end up like Timon and Pumbaa from Lion King and dig up bugs.
That's the thing. I mean, yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't.
we already eat bugs in daily life. If you go to the grocery store right now, how many bugs do you not find with paprika flavor or cheese flavor in your normal store?
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah,
ate a cricket once, which freaked me out because it was in a
yeah,
lollipop.
yeah.
And as soon the lollipop was very flavored, really nice, but as soon as my tongue hit that cricket, oh, I screamed like a little girl.
I
Don't
can't.
like bugs.
No, 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 no. And like that takes me back. I mean, it's making me go off on a bit of a tangent now, but somewhere where I used to work, we held this mock kind of I'm a celebrity, get me out of here eating trial, and it was to raise money for charity. So this guy who was like the office joker, we got him to do it. So he was blindfolded, and he had various different things like garlic paste, really horrible stuff that he can't see what he's eating, and one of which was crickets that you could get from whatever food shop it was. So it just made me think of that when you said it. But yeah, no, but in that situation, what do? You don't know, do you? Because if you're needing food, you would eat what you can eat. So
Well, I wouldn't be like Carol and slice my dog's throat or something. I can't.
I don't think I.
Uh-oh, we're freezing.
I could even. Yes,
We're back.
I was here. Well, I could see myself talking, and I could just see the top of your head. It just froze. So I was like, let's just admire the dyed hair at that moment in time.
I was gonna diet again today, but that didn't work out quite well. I had a busy day.
Yeah, no, it's I can't think where I was going with it then.
We were talking about slicing up our pets.
Oh yeah, I don't think I could do it. I mean,
I think the honest answer, we can actually not tell because we're not in that situation. And if you're in that situation, your survival instincts take over,
Yeah,
honestly. I mean,
yeah.
there's this movie, Alive. I don't know if you've ever seen it,
I
about the
have,
team that crashes in Alaska or something, for the
yeah,
people who have never seen it. Um, but they eat the dead bodies of their friends to keep
yeah,
alive.
yeah.
So I think that's it's in a momentum, and I think that if the need is that high, it's either
Mm,
you need something to eat now or we're going to die. I
yeah,
think you actually would. If there's no other animals around, I think you basically be like, oh my god, I'm gonna hate myself for the rest of my life. But if I can survive it, then I'm sorry, but
mm.
pike, you're gonna be on my plate tonight. Um, you can never
It's
tell. It's a horrible thing to think about, but I think
yeah,
it's a survival instinct that you have,
yeah.
and it's in momentum of what situation you are in.
Yeah, I agree. You don't know until you're faced with it, and yeah, in that kind of situation. So yeah, so it's kind of, and that's obviously what we see Carol doing what she does. But in relation to Carol, and obviously Magna was there, and she was, being a bit kind of opinionated, wasn't she, about Carol giving Kelly false hope because they go out to look for Connie. But I don't necessarily see there's anything wrong with that.
No,
But
me neither.
do you think she's given her false hope?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's
Hmm.
let's face it. Kelly is still a kid,
Yeah.
and they've not found a body. They've not seen her die. She got trapped in this cage, didn't she?
Hmm.
When the explosion happened. So what if she's still alive? It's like what Carol said. Would you not want to know
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
about your family, if they're either dead or alive? And I agree with that.
Hmm.
But then again, Magda, she's been in there for a couple of seasons now. Let's be honest. But
Mm.
what do we actually know about her? Completely nothing.
Yeah, she likes to
You know,
pout a
she
lot.
had a little fling with Yumiko. But what else do we know about her? The same as with Luke. When did we see him again? He's not been in there for ages.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because I wrote down
And
where's
he's
Jerry. Yeah, yeah. That's it. There are some unanswered questions still, aren't there, with some of the crew? Yeah, some of the gang.
I don't think Magda was in the right to tell off Carol, even though Carol's crazy, because Magda is a sketchy one. I think she's a sketchy one. I've never really fully trusted her,
Mm,
because of the way she is. She's
yeah.
always this bitchy attitude, and I don't like people with a bitchy attitude like
Mhm,
that.
mhm.
And what do we know about them really? I mean, it's just like that new people that Maggie now came from, which we couldn't even remember their names. Like when they died, I knew what the names was, but that was it.
Yeah,
Like, what do we
yeah,
knew about Magda? We don't know
yeah.
anything about her really. They
No,
suddenly came in there. We know more about Kelly
yes.
and Connie because Connie had some alone time with Daryl quite a lot, and Kelly has been having some time with in those containers with Maggie, and they had this conversations. But we don't know anything about Luke. We don't know anything about Magda really. We know things about Yumiko because obviously she's in the Commonwealth right now.
Mm,
Um, but what do you really know about her? So I don't think she was in the right to act like she did.
no, no.
I mean,
And
what did you contribute in all them seasons? You was in here.
yeah, and also earlier on when Carol and Kelly had come back in, and she was talking to Kelly, and she was like basically trying to make sure that things were okay between them. And then later on, she's then giving Carol a hard time because it's like you're
Yeah.
giving her hope. It's almost like, is there a bit of
So
on there? But I don't think, if they're going out there, they're looking for Connie, but they're also trying to scavenge for food, and they're doing other stuff. What's the problem in that? It's,
absolutely.
what's the problem?
Which makes me think that actually next episode we're going to see Connie.
Well, it would be nice to know where she's up to, wouldn't it? Because
This
of
weird
that third
Sergio
guy.
dude.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it. I mean, we know that she's going to be somewhere with him, and probably in a darkened room somewhere, or spinning out maybe in the woods somewhere. Uh,
High on shrooms that he gave her, just like he did when we showed.
yes, that's it. Oh, and also Daryl, because where did Daryl go?
See, That's an interesting one, because in the beginning, when we're in the fighting scene, we see
Yeah.
Daryl and Dog, and they ran off.
Yes. Yes.
But I'm pretty sure that I saw that they ran after someone. Because Dog ran after someone who ran into the woods. But who was it? I don't know. If it was a Reaper or anything, I don't know. But Daryl ran off with Dog while in that fight, which was weird because Daryl never runs away from a fight.
No, so they've kind of gone somewhere else, and it's like, oh right, because he's like a main character, but where's he
Showed
got?
us everyone and every character coming back except for Daryl.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be interesting. Like, you know, what happens, and
And the weird Judas Walker.
yeah, just
That was a scary one.
yeah, it was.
I wonder what happened with him. Obviously, they set him on fire. That's what it looked like. But why? Judas. Well, we all know Judas from the Bible was the one who betrayed Jesus, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So was this a traitor then? And was it a Reaper? Was it someone in that group? Is it still an aftermath of Alpha? Who is this?
Well, that's it.
Judas?
Yeah, there must be something else that's going to come from all of this, because that to be
Well,
a
it
one.
was the same thing as that painting, wasn't it? They showed quite some bit of that Walker instead of just flashing in and going to another scene.
Yes, they did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. I remember, so before I forget, because I know last time we talked about Abraham, because it was kind of, I know he's a character from the past, but you know, I was always quite, you know, team Abraham, and Michael is lovely. But we also brought up Simon, so Stephen Ogg, and we were kind of saying what would they do in the situation with Maggie on the train, and you know, just as part of the conversation. But it was funny that Rosita, and I'm sure I didn't imagine this when she was talking to Carol, didn't she say that she was having dreams about Abraham, or he was trying to send her a message?
She brought him up. She did, exactly. She did, actually. She brought him up, said that she has been having the same dream for a couple of days in a row now.
Yes.
That he is trying to warn her for something, but every time he tries to speak, he gets shot in the head.
Yeah, so it's just, but I just thought it was funny, because remember last time we were saying about Eugene, how we were talking about it the previous episode, and then he talks about it, and then this one, Abraham is coming up, and it's just like, wow. So we're gonna have to think, you know, there might be
manifesting. I should manifest for certain characters to come back.
I wonder who you could be talking about. Maybe the one that's behind you, who I keep thinking is actually him stood behind you, because it's like, it's quite realistic, the picture there. Yeah.
Oh, that's my purse.
What's the purse? Oh my God.
Purse. Yeah, I'll show it. It's a purse that I got made for Comic-Con in Berlin a couple of years back. I've got this purse made.
Yeah.
And it's actually signed by Steven. Pretty sorry because he wanted to draw a face on it, and I told him no. Like, this purse was expensive. He's like, can I draw a glasses on it? I'm like, no, you cannot.
What did he put on it?
He said much love, and then his autograph underneath it. But he said, oh, can I please draw glasses on my own face? It's like, no, you cannot. I said, it was a very expensive purse.
But then it would have been him drawing on it.
True. He just had drawn it, so he just signed it in the bottom. So now always when I go to conventions, that's my purse to go.
Yeah.
I always bring that with me on conventions.
If anybody doesn't know who that is, that's of course Stephen Ogg, who played Simon in The Walking Dead. And would it be fair to say that he's a favourite character of yours, Reina? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that would be fair.
And I actually worked with him. I was crewing on Team Ogg when I met Reina, so that's the link I have in common there.
So jealous.
So yeah, so amazing person, absolutely amazing person, and fantastic actor as well. So let me ask you then, so across this whole episode 3, standout character. strongest character. So we'll go with, like, you know, from crew A and crew C, because we've got Alexandria and we've got the gang that are out and about, separated. Stand out, strongest character, even if you don't like them, but, you know, strongest character.
I'd say Carol. She stood out this episode a lot, not necessarily in a positive way, but she did stand out. And
see, I would, you know,
I would say Negan, but it's a tie between Negan and Alden.
Yeah, I was going to say Negan, to be honest, but then I don't know if part of me is a bit biased with that, but then I do think, because he came forth and kind of, he's saved her. He's not putting up with her shit.
Twice in the episode, twice. He was the one who pulled Maggie away from Agatha. Well, she was ripped apart and she tried to save her, which still don't get to that. But I would add a fourth person, in my opinion, with that, because I said Alden, Negan, and Carol, but also Gabriel in a very, very, very negative way.
Yes, because he's actually showing, like, his true colors, in the sense of that dark side of him coming back out. Yeah. So yes, I can relate to that. I agree with that.
Even though it was like one or two scenes he was on in this episode, that one stood out.
Yeah.
That made me rethink him a lot.
Yes, no, for sure.
I wasn't already not a big fan of him, but that really went down a lot more.
Yeah.
By what he did.
Well, exactly, because as we've discussed, you know, if he's that kind of God isn't here, take your dog collar off.
Don't ever dare to call yourself a priest again.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think he picks and chooses when he's in that position of power.
Yeah, which I don't think you can do that with faith. You can't pick and choose when you believe or not. You either believe or you don't. There's no in between with that. Yeah.
But even on the train, you know, he was very quick to be on the fence. I say on the fence. He wasn't on the fence at all, because he was quick on the side of basically leaving that guy, wasn't he? He was almost too quick, because you think, again, dog collar on, he's that respectable priest. He's got that integrity within his soul. That's his values, his beliefs. You'd think he would be like, hang on a minute, is there any way we can save him? And if they all decided as a group, no, we can't, but at least he would have put forward a case. But he was too quick to be with Maggie. And again, in this episode, he has revealed that side.
Well, he did that one time before. I don't know if you remember that, but when Negan was in prison, it was Daryl who basically kept everybody from killing him immediately, because Gabriel already said, oh, he's going to die immediately. It was Gabriel and Rosita who completely went like, we're going to kill him. And Aaron as well. But Aaron still kind of got like in between in that situation. But Gabriel was like, oh no, just give him what he deserves.
Yeah. No, when you said Gabriel and Rosita, I just thought odd couple straight away. And I know we've covered that before. We were talking about couples and stuff.
Yeah, she was talking about Gabriel as well, didn't she?
Yeah.
Gabriel being wrong. I never liked Rosita from day one. She actually joined.
Yeah.
I don't know why. She's just cocky. I don't know.
Yeah. Quite cocky. Yeah, I agree. So I know we haven't seen Crew B, the ones that were at the Commonwealth the past two episodes. You know, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with them. And you know, what do you think might be happening with them at the moment? Do you think they're now kind of getting
I think they're having a swell old party and they're stuffing their face right now.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they were happy and all like kind of like a little bit in a celebration mood, because they got what was it called? Reprocessed. That's it. I think they're having a swell old time. But I do think they're gonna return home or request to turn home. Because they need to tell others about this place, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And weren't they asked as one of their interview questions, like, where is your site? Where is your base?
Yeah, and then Eugene told them, he's like, we're
mm.
from a place called Alexandria. I was like, okay, just draw a map and leave them there and get them all killed.
So yeah, it's exactly, because if they have got motives for wanting to recruit people, I don't know in that sense,
They have
but
guns, they have harnesses, so if they would do something wrong and kill them, this would be easy. They
yeah,
have
yeah,
the manpower for it, they have
yeah,
the equipment for it.
yeah,
It seems like they have a really stable home to go
yeah,
back to, so why
yeah,
wouldn't they?
yeah. No, definitely, definitely. Well, we'll have to see what comes up next week. But I guess, if you had any questions that you wanted to ask the viewers, like last time about Stephanie,
I do have one.
yeah.
I do think I have a question for the viewers. The question would be, is Alden returning to Alexandria alive,
Mm,
or is he never gonna be found again?
mm,
Because reason of the question is, when they left and Alden was gonna barricade himself into the church, that's why Negan put all those benches down.
mm.
He said, Maggie said, stay here, we will be back. And I'm pretty sure Alden said, hope there's something to come back to. Something in the atmosphere like that, which indicates to me Alden is thinking of taking his life.
I've got a feeling that maybe they will go back and they will find him
Well, I
deceased
was thinking,
of
because
way.
it's just Maggie and Negan on their own right now. If they just go back to Alexandria right now, they have horses. They know where the church is because Negan knows the place. That's why they brought him in the first place.
Mm,
Grab a horse, go to the church, get them on the back of that horse, because they're
mm.
way faster back in Alexandria if they do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's what I was thinking. Well,
yeah,
we
yeah.
don't know. I have an eerie feeling we will see something of Alden again, but I think he's gonna take his life. I think
I
there's a herd collecting around because there was zombies coming around the
there
church,
were,
weren't they? Walkers
were
were gathering around.
yeah,
Um, in how strong is this church? And because it's really big windows, and we've
yeah,
seen walkers come through windows before.
yes, and he's
Um,
scared and everything, and
he
I mean,
is alone. He only has one knife. He
yes,
can't really move.
yes,
So maybe we'll just see him back as a walker, which I wouldn't be surprised.
that was my prediction was going to be that he will be. That's how they will see him again.
As a walker, yeah, mine too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that'll be kind of, again, it'll be a bit of a weird sort of thing if they got back and it was like, oh, we're here, and then he's a walker. So that will be interesting. But
Would be another memory back to Negan finding his wife.
yes,
He was a walker when he came home.
yes, it would. Yeah, yeah. Oh, such a devastating episode that
And I
was.
want
Yeah,
to know where Daryl is at. Like, why the hell did he run away from a fight?
yeah.
And where's Jerry? Is he eating
Where's
pizza somewhere?
where's
Must
Jerry?
be.
Yeah, where's Jerry? Exactly. I don't know. We'll have to see what comes up, won't we? But any other predictions for next week's episode of where we might find things?
Next week's episode, I think we are going to what I mentioned before. I also think we're gonna be following Negan and Maggie together, how they're gonna get along,
Mm,
and I think we're gonna find Connie back, or at
yeah.
least that there's going to be a trail that indicates that Connie is still alive, which means that I think that Kelly and Carol are going back to where the cave was at when they came out, and they'll find like a trail that she dragged herself out, and that they will be following that trail, and that episode will end with them finding a house where Connie is at.
Mm,
That's what I think. I think it's going to be mainly focused on Carol and Kelly,
mm-hmm,
Negan and Maggie.
mm-hmm.
That's what I think. And we're going to see. We're going back to Commonwealth.
Yeah, we'll go back to Commonwealth. Yeah, as well.
That's
Yeah,
my predictions for
yeah.
episode 4.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. yeah, I think Connie does need to make an appearance because it'll be episode 4. And yeah, I think it's time, even if it is just a glimpse, but there needs to be some reference to her. But also we do need to cover the other people, like we said, Luke and Jerry, just to know where they are, because, you know, although they're not main characters like your Daryls and your Negans, they're still,
we know who they are. They're known
yeah,
enough for us to wonder where they're at.
yeah, exactly.
But I do already have the feeling, because of what we've been through so far, even though it's just 3 episodes in, and I think there's 5 more to go until it stops, because I think last episode will be around the 22nd of October.
Yeah.
For this first half of 3 halves of this season. I think we're going to have one of the biggest cliffhangers already than we have ever seen before.
Yeah. Well, already the episode, even though there have been some things that we've laughed about that maybe are not that realistic, but on the whole, the episodes have been quite good, haven't they? They've been a great opener to it. And
yeah, absolutely. And I really think, because we had 2 pretty heavy episodes to start with, it was also nice to take a little bit of a breath.
Yes.
With the Alexandria period, to just, you know, because if it's constantly action on action on action, it's going to get bored as well. So it was really nice to catch a break from the fighting, to see a little bit of the rebuilding and how our people are still holding up. Because, as you see, there's a couple of people are trying to, like, it looks like they're losing hope. And others are really still positive and still trying to rebuild and making the best of what they have, while others are trying to be positive, but they're not really reaching out there, which is interesting to see. And with Carol, yeah, which I also thought weird, was like, Rosita's looking at them horses. How can you not miss a horse? Like, it's not like it's a small tiny thing you can't see, you know.
No, and then Carol's washing her bloodstained hands, you know.
But she walked away from Magda while holding that horse, so her not coming back with the horse should have raised any questions. Which, at one point, I get why she did it, and at the second part, I'm like, that was a crucial transport, basically.
Yeah.
Which they could have covered ground with to maybe find another town where you can find supplies.
Yes.
Because now you have 3 horses left, which means, okay, you can hold one on the back, so 6 people can go on those 3 horses to find a town and get supplies. Because there's still towns out there, like they're in the middle of the city if we saw them
exactly
the underground. So I was thinking, like, either, like, I would have probably used it as transport because you're near a town and there's probably still things left.
Yeah. I know. It feels like she was fixed on that's what she was going to do, and that's why she was trying to find the horses. After you see that she did that, you can kind of think, well, that was probably in her mind all along.
I didn't saw it coming after she all petted these horses and had this harmonious moment in the fields when they were all petting them, and when Kelly tells them to put the lassos down. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Carol is, I don't think Aaron approved of it completely. It's just she got caught, and he understands why. But I don't think Aaron didn't look really happy with it.
No, he didn't. But then there was that kind of, I see why you've done it. But it was a bit of a, oh, what have you done?
Yeah,
I get what you've done.
Face-offs we had with Negan and Maggie again a couple of times this episode. Especially in that church, there was 1 or 2 face-offs with Negan, wasn't it?
She's just, just.
What is next she's going to take from him? His crowbar? Because he's already lost his gun. Now he's lost a knife. Next up, the crowbar.
Yeah, but she's very happy to let him swoop in and save her, though. So
it's a love-hate relationship, really.
And still, you know, perhaps underneath it all, she's catching some feels for him, and she doesn't know how.
I would scream. I think that would be See, we had weird couples. We mentioned it before that we're actually gonna cut this in an episode, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
Well, I never liked the couple Rick and Michonne either. It just doesn't fit.
I
Like,
didn't.
knowing that he was with a Lori and then he goes to a Michonne, it just didn't fit for me.
I didn't like it. No.
That was weird. I mean, in the comics, he gets with Andrea, which would be even weirder, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, no
Yeah.
offense, Laurie Holden, but no.
No. No. That it is weird. I mean, it's that there, as we did say, and we will do a separate podcast about it, about these couples, but maybe also couples that you'd like to be together. Those that seem quite
Couple that I thought of.
yeah, quite matched. But I think Negan and Maggie, not as a romantic couple, but they are now a couple that have to work together.
Enemies.
Yeah. So they're going to have to actually rely on each other. And I think it's not going to be without its challenges. It's not going to be plain sailing, because that wouldn't make it entertaining.
I think within them two being on their own together,
Mm-hmm.
I think the moment that they're going to have a discussion about what happened with Glenn, I think they're going to bring that back.
Yes, they could do. Yes. And do you know what? I've had another flashback throwback, because I know we were talking about that earlier, and with the crowbar at the end, there was another moment, and I'm trying to actually think. It was with that guy, Duncan. Did you say his name was, with the beard?
Yes.
Black guy. And when Maggie held him and put the knife, whether she did it through his head, his ear, his neck, whatever, but she put the knife in, didn't she? That is what Glenn did when they broke into the sanctuary and they were asleep. The guys that were sleeping, they did that through the head or the ear. And it reminded me of that. So Maggie's doing it and Glenn did it back then.
Yes, and you know what? That just actually gave me another throwback with Alden. Remember season 1 that someone was hurt? I think he was bitten exactly. They left him at a tree. Jim,
Oh, I know. He had a beard as well. Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
They left him at a tree, didn't they? Because he couldn't move on further.
Yeah. Because he was watching the sun, wasn't he? The sunrise or the sunset.
Yeah,
it was something
sunset,
like that.
It was sunset, it was.
Yeah.
Then we have Dale.
Yes.
Which was a friend being put down by a friend, because Daryl didn't say like, "Oh, I love you, brother," or something in that way.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah.
There's a couple that actually refers back to that.
Yeah. But certainly the whole knife in the, because when they did that at the sanctuary, and I know, and again this goes back to that discussion of
this is the reason why Negan attacked them in the first place.
Yeah, that's right. And we know our group.
I don't get it, because a lot of people are still mad at Negan and pissed off at what he did with Glenn and Abraham. But I'm like, why are you people mad? Because it's Rick and Daryl who snuck in their outpost, killed 50 of them in his sleep. He only takes 2. You should be happy you're not all dead.
Yeah. And because
I really think if they've not done that, because it was the satellite outpost they did that with. Satellite outpost was under care of Simon.
Yes.
That was his outpost. He was the main leader of that one. They killed 50 men in their sleep.
Yeah.
Negan sums them up. Only takes 2. And that's even what he said. He said, because he was only supposed to take 1. He said, you took 50 of my men. Yes. I'm only taking 1 of you.
Yes.
And then someone hit him in the face, and then he said, okay, I'll give you that 1. But someone who punches me again in the face, I'll take another 1. And then Daryl punched him in the face. So it's actually, I blame Daryl that Glenn's dead.
Yes. That's
because
right.
If I was Negan and 50 of my friends and family was fucking killed off, I would have killed them all.
Yeah. But exactly, it's the group that you're following, isn't it? Because to that group, they've lost all those people. So of course
I would love for someone to remake The Walking Dead and put us from day 1 with Negan and the Saviors and do the whole story over again.
Yeah.
Skip episode 15 from season 8, but to do everything over again from a different perspective.
Yes.
Perspective. And
Yes.
do it the other way around, because I'm pretty sure if we have watched Negan from day one, season 1, episode 1, Rick would have been the villain.
Yeah, he would have been portrayed as a villain, wouldn't he? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because Rick wasn't really pure at all. I mean, remember those dudes who came up in the bar who wanted to join him and he just killed them in cold blood? Which they were sketchy, okay, I agree, but you still killed them.
I do remember that, but I
they
still
stole
miss.
babies out of the sanctuary. Uh-oh, you're frozen again. We're going to a commercial break. Yes, we're back. I see you moving. Nope. We are going to a commercial break. Everybody take a pee, get some drink, get a cigarette. You're muted there. You need to unmute yourself.
It was saying then recording in progress. So I hope it's carried on the recording and it's not just
I was sitting here, but you're like, we're going to commercial.
Well, that's all my data gone now. So I'm back on the Wi-Fi, but I know my neighbours are downstairs. See, this is the thing with the internet at the moment. Yeah, it's just a pain. But we're going to wrap it up now anyway. Yes. So, you know, it's been a great discussion as always. You know, it's always entertaining to talk about this and also to recognise and appreciate these points that they're putting in that do throw us back to previous episodes and series and characters, because I think it's good because it's getting the Walking Dead family, fans, community talking and remembering about those characters, and especially because it is the final season, not that we want to dwell on it, but it's quite nice, isn't it, to have those moments to look back. So really appreciate you being here again, Reina, and of course the next episode, you know, we'll obviously be talking again about episode 4, so we'll get something sorted out and scheduled in for that. And yeah, just please like, share, subscribe, comment, answer Reina's question, you know, which I don't know if you want to repeat that just for the viewers, Reina.
What was it again? What did I say? Oh yeah, so the question for this week is, are we going to see Alden alive, back again alive, or is he going to be a walker? We would like to know your answer. So is Alden going to be alive, or is he going to be dead?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So when they return and find him, yeah, absolutely. Is he going to have survived it all, or would walkers have got in, or would he have just turned because of his injuries, or maybe taken his own life? I don't know. It's one of those, you don't know how long he's going to be left there. So yeah, interested to know your comments. And of course, anything else that we've been talking about, get involved in the discussion, because it's really great to just interact with people. And it helps us because it fuels our discussion further, doesn't it, to get other viewpoints. Because, you know, there could be some Maggie fans out there that are like, nope, I'm with Maggie all the way. I would hate Negan, and etc.
I would love to hear from some Maggie fans your opinion on what's going on between Maggie and Negan, and why do you think that way? Because obviously, we already said a couple of times, we don't like Maggie. We're absolutely all Negan in this season because we think Negan has redeemed. So for all the Maggie fans who does not think Negan has redeemed himself, please put a comment in, get into this conversation, and tell us, why is Negan not redeemed himself? We would love to hear that, so we can actually have a discussion over this, because maybe it can change a little bit our point of view and our hate of Maggie. And I would like to hear your opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we're really grateful for your views. And yeah, just if the support is great, because it just helps the video get out there to more people to join the discussion. So really appreciate it, and thank you so much. So until next time, we will wish you a good night, And yeah, stay safe, everybody. Take care.